What's up, guys? Shawn Myszka, Explosive Edge Athletics, Edina, Minnesota, coming in regards to another installment of our quick jump tips video series that we have going on YouTube here. In the first installment, we talked to you in regards to having the proper foot placement and finding that appropriate foot placement based on what science and physics show us. In the second video, we talked about finding the appropriate knee angle that was going to be specific to your strengths and weaknesses based on your jumping style. In this third video, we're talking about another angle, and we're working right up the chain of events from what's happening at the foot to what's happening at the knee, and now in this video, what's happening at the hip. And what kind of hip angles, from a hip flexion and extension standpoint, we're placing our body under to initiate that initial counter movement. Now, it should be pretty much obvious why this hip hinge flexion point is going to be important. Of course, it's going to determine if we increase our hip flexion based on how much we're going to push that hip hinge backwards. We will determine how much we place our glutes as well as our hamstrings under stretch. And if we can place them under greater stretch, we can store greater amounts of energy, put the muscle and the motor units under greater activation, and increase the amount of strength contribution that they're going to have during the push-off phase of our counter movement jump. Now, the percentage of contribution from any given muscle group is going to be dependent on numerous factors, mostly based on your strengths and weaknesses and the biomechanics, the jumping biomechanics that you're going to place your body under. But with the glutes, we can actually see that we can have a wide range of muscle contribution in comparison to other muscle groups. It has really been proven to be anywhere from about 25% upwards to about 52%. So that's a tremendous amount of contribution that we could be finding from those glute muscles. But it's always dependent on how much flexion we're going to place it under. Now, really it just comes to initiating that movement with greater hinge. Now, sometimes taller athletes will have more trouble with this, as will athletes who are going to be more strength, power-oriented type jumpers versus someone who is an elastic, reactive jumper who probably already jumps by storing a tremendous amount of energy in their glutes and those hamstrings. However, if you are a taller athlete or if you are an athlete who is a little more quad dominant, it will be worth your best interest in order to really emphasize this hip hinge to a greater degree. The fortunate part is it's very, very easy to teach. We can do it in a number of different ways, and I'm going to show you a couple of those different types of exercises that can be quick and easy that you can place into your workouts immediately to see an increase. Now, the first thing that you need to do, as I've stated in video 1 and 2, which is pretty much intuitive in nature, is that you just need to jump more by initiating that actual hip hinge. So you need to start to focus on sitting backwards and down in your counter movement rather than just simply sitting down. And that's usually where those taller athletes will have an issue because their center of mass is already to a higher height. So to jump to the heights that they need to in their sport conditions, they probably don't always have to place their body under greater stretch in order to get up to that height that they are trying to attain. Those quad dominant athletes, again, the same issue. They're used to sitting straight down because they have strong, powerful quads that they don't need to worry about that contribution from their hamstrings and glutes. Till now, till they're trying to get every single inch that they possibly can and really try to squeeze out and optimize that performance. So if you need to do this as part of your weaknesses and to try and improve that, I would suggest just trying to jump more by initiating that movement again, finding those hip bones and simply worry and focus on, in your counter movement, initiating that movement backwards before you do anything. So start jumping that way, it'll start to improve. Some other exercises you can do. First off, you can go into a box squat. Let's just say I'm going to use this bench as my box. And again, I'm finding that same exact stance that I'm looking for here and that we talked about in previous videos. Let's imagine I had that bar in my back right now and I was going to squat with it here. I would focus myself on sitting back towards the box rather than sitting down to it. So initiating that hip backward and then exploding upward. Of course, it's a little hard to tell when I don't have a bar on my back, but there's definitely some videos that I have out there that you should check out if you want to see it in a full-fledged, hearted effort. But again, we're focused on sitting backwards. As soon as I push my hips backward in that hinge, I can feel my hamstrings as well as my glutes come under to greater stretch. Another way that you can do this is sometimes people simply don't have the activation ability of their glutes and their hamstrings to take themselves under greater flexion and then through greater extension. So some good exercises that you should do are some glute activation and glute strengthening specific movements. Some good places to find those videos, and I'm going to show you just a quick exercise, but Brett Contreras, whose label is the glute guy, he knows pretty much everything there is to know about the glutes and about hip flexion and extension. I would definitely suggest you can check out videos on him or from him on YouTube. You're going to find some great stuff out there. Also check out his articles, fantastic stuff. It'll tell you exactly what types of exercises you can do. But here's a simple one by simply doing a hip thrust exercise that you can do in between benches. Now you could also do this with your feet on the floor. I'm going to do it on the benches so you can see the greater contribution and degree of hip flexion that I'm going to get based on the amount and magnitude of range of motion I can get with these benches. So if I just place my hands and my feet up like so, I could also use a load here. Maybe I could use those chains that you see on the side. I could do this in the rack with having bands attached to my waist, but I'm just going to do a bodyweight version because this will be sufficient for most of you guys out there. You're simply going to let your hips sink down into flexion and then squeeze up into extension. Of course, you want to drive the movement right here through those booties. You're going to push those hips down and then extend right up. If you're having a hard time feeling your glutes and you're feeling it more in your hamstrings here, I would suggest actually putting your hands and palpitating right on those glutes to make sure that they're firing to maximum effect. Again, I definitely suggest you check out Brett Contreras' videos that are out there in regards to some of these glute exercises. You're going to see some fantastic stuff in regards to the hip hinge and forcing your body to learn how to activate through greater hip extension and flexion. I hope these tips help. If there's anything out there that you guys want to see, please comment on the videos or drop me an email at Shawn, S-H-A-W-N, at explosiveedgeathletics.com. Until video installment number 4, this has been another jump tip for you. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.